If you're an athlete, a regular gym goer, or just a weekend warrior who likes to go out for a long run on a Sunday, the last thing that you want is to get injured. So today's post, we're going to go through the 9 mistakes to avoid to make sure that you can remain injury free. So the first one, these are mistakes to avoid, by the way, okay? The first one is intervention rather than prevention, okay? Too many of you are reactive when it comes to warning signs from the body. Apologies about that if you heard that. By that, I mean, let's say, for example, you go out for a run. About 3K in, your calves start getting a little bit tight. You get back, you get through your run okay, but that's fine. And then 2 days later, you go to the gym, do some interval work, do some Hyrox, hybrid athlete. That's what you all are now these days, isn't it? Do a hybrid athlete workout. And then all of a sudden, this tight calf just starts becoming a little bit of a nuisance. And then a few sessions down the line, you go out for your run again, and then boom, you get a little bit of a calf tear. That is usually where people will then react to the calf tear, follow their interventions, and then start getting on to rehab work. And even then, the rehab work is very shoddy. They just get on a foam roller, wait for it to go away, but that's for another day. That is being reactive, okay? Reactive to warning signs from your body. What we need you to be is proactive. So that very first session when you get your tight calf, get back, just think, okay, what has my load management been like this week? Just go through a few things in terms of to identify the slight causes of it. Were you hydrated enough? Have you been doing too much calf work that week? These are just things off the top of my head, okay? Then the next session, if you start getting those symptoms again, that's when you really need to sit down and be like, okay, we need to identify what is actually going on, okay? It could be that the knee joint is not strong enough to withstand your body. The calves cross the posterior, so the back side of the knee. And they work as dynamic stabilizers. So it could be the weak link in your arm that the knee joint is. It could be the ankle joint, a lack of restriction or a lack of mobility. It could be that the calf muscles aren't strong enough. It could be that the Achilles tendon doesn't have enough elasticity to be able to store and release energy repetitively after a certain period of time. So all of these things could come in. You need to sit down, identify, okay, let's work on these things, what it could be. Look at the drawing board and go from there, okay? That's what you need to be doing. You need to start being proactive to these things. Make sure that you're training week, you are managing your load efficiently, taking your recovery, you're getting enough sleep. You need to be preventing injuries rather than just intervening and being reactive, okay? You need to be focusing on the present rather than being robbed of the future. I hope that makes sense. Number 2 is neglecting your restrictions, okay? So by this, I mean, apologies, I'm just going like that. I had something in my throat then. So by this, I mean, this is a mistake that you just neglect your restrictions, okay? You need to be focusing on your weak areas throughout the week. Don't just think, like I'm strong with chest. Let's just keep on doing chest workouts. Just like with any gym program, you need to be sort of identifying where your weak links are. Let's say, for example, if you are an athlete, you've got a lack of hip internal rotation. You need to be focusing on that, okay? You need to make sure that these compensations in range of motion or muscle imbalances don't lead to overuse injuries or increasing your risk of other things down the line, okay? So you need to be focusing on the areas that you perceive or you have identified as being your weak links. Number 3 is misbeliefs of what rehab is, okay? There's so many individuals out there who think, okay, like that story I told about the tight calves, that they just get back and they just get on the foam roller and I'm doing rehab work, or they go get a massage. Okay, I'm not going to be busting myths around in this video, but they are not. That's not what rehab is. Okay, they do not cause positive adaptations to the tissue to restore capacity. Okay, so by that I mean that tight calf. If you've got a calf tear, foam rolling is not going to restore that calf's capacity at what it was once before pre-injury. Okay, so it's not going to be restoring its strength. It's not going to be restoring range of motion. It's not going to be restoring loads of different things that happen or occurs from an injury. Okay, we decondition, the body deconditions. We need to be able to go back up to what our pre-injury level was, and a massage and a foam rolling is just not going to do that. Okay, so when you do get an injury, sit down and actually figure out what it is you need to work on. okay, rather than just simple doing a couple of stretches and some foam rolling, okay. If you can't figure that out, work with an expert who can identify what the root causes are, where to attack, and take it from there. Number 4 is ignoring your body's warning signs. So this marries up with the first point that we talked about. Your body will give you warning signs, just like a headache. Okay, a headache is like a bit of a warning sign that it could be, well, a lot of us, it could just be that a lack of water, etc. So your body will give you warning signs, and it's important to make sure that you are listening to them. Okay, if you are feeling a little bit burnt out from a training session, you could be that your load management is just a little bit off, and you could be just really fatigued. Okay, and your body is going to give you warning signs from that. Okay, so you need to make sure that you're respecting them, and you're not just pushing itself every single session. Which then ties up to the next one, okay, is chasing personal bests every session. I was halfway through saying chasing PBs every session or personal bests. So yeah, that marries up. If your body is giving you pain signals or warning signs of aches, tightness, or stiffness, okay, you need to make sure that you are being proactive to that rather than reactive. And then you need to make sure that you're just tying it in with a respect to your body. Okay. Next one, like I said, is chasing personal bests every session. This leads to overtraining, overstressing muscles, joints, and connective tissues, and therefore it increases your risk. It increases your risk of overuse injuries. Okay, and then also, in turn, a lack of performance. Okay, so if by this I mean if you're an athlete, one of the best ways to train within the gym or your strength conditioning sessions is having a high load day followed by a low load day, and then a high load day, low load day, rather than just thinking, okay, it's match day -1. I'm going to get into the gym. I'm going to go for a 1 rep max personal best on the bench press. That's just a dumb way to train, but you need to leave your ego out of it. Okay. So rather than trying to push yourself every single session, which just leads to overtraining and then leads to no gains, you need to make sure that we are focusing on load management throughout the week. Okay. We're not redlining every session. We're not trying to push for personal best. Let's say, for example, you're not trying to be pushing for a personal best 5K every time you run. You need to be smart, you need to be clever with your training and not push yourself every single session. Number 6 is looking for quick fixes and hacks. And this just seems to be for everyone in life, doesn't it? 6-minute abs. 6 minutes to bloody do whatever. Normally it's just 6 minutes, 6-minute abs. But yeah, there's no shortcuts to life, let alone injury rehabilitation. Those who seek these sort of shortcuts, they're always destined to fail. Okay. I know you guys will get an injury and you'll be like, okay, how soon can I get back? What is the quickest way? What's the most perfect exercise for me? What's the quickest way to get back? I know, look, I've been there myself. I've been an athlete. I've had many injuries in terms of that's probably why I'm a physiotherapist now. But I've been there. I know how frustrating it can get, and I know what the first thing you want to do is try and get back as quickly as possible. Okay, and that's what I do with my athletes, my clients. We try to get them back in the quickest way possible, which is sustainable for them. Okay, so if you come back and then you rush your rehab, you skip your steps, yeah, you might be back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks' time, but your risk of re-injury is even higher than the person who just simply respected the process, earned the right to progress with their rehab, and then went back when they have earned the right to go back rather than just rushing it and skipping steps. That person will then have long-term results, and then that other person who rushed everything, they're probably going to re-injure themselves and then back to square one after 3 or 4 weeks. Which is the longer one? Okay, so there's no quick fixes with anything, let alone injury rehabilitation. The body, we have to respect the body with the utmost respect, and earn the right to progress when we've earned the right to progress. Let's say, for example, you've torn or ruptured your ACL, you have surgery, and then you're just rushing the process. You're just not hitting the required strength markers. You're not hitting required markers and allow you to progress. Let's say, for example, progress to plyometrics, then progress to a return to jogging protocol, then return to sprinting, and then return to sort of change the direction, then integrate training. If you just sort of skip steps and skip progress, those that do that, they have a higher risk of re-rupture. Okay. Number 7 is comparing yourself. Instead, compare yourself to who you were or where you were yesterday. Okay. Comparing your journey to someone else is just simply a waste of time. So, for example, I might have, these are just going to be fake names, but I might have Susan come down to the clinic. She might have had exactly the same injury on exactly the same day. Let's say, for example, a lateral ankle sprain. She might have the exact same injury compared to, for example, I'll just bring up these random names, Dave. So if your name is Susan and Dave, I apologize. But you might have the same injury as Dave, okay? Exact same day, same time, etc. Those are two complete different individuals. Dave could be a very resistant, or he could be a very trained individual, and Susan could just be someone who just likes to go yoga. Okay, Susan could like swimming as well, where Dave is a proper meathead and wants to go to the gym and etc. They're both going to have very different journeys. But if Susan just focuses on, oh, Dave's getting back to hit whatever he wants to do a lot quicker than me. If she's just comparing herself to Dave all the time, then she's just going to be robbed of the future. She's going to be robbed of the present and then robbed of the future as well, like I said earlier. So you need to stop comparing your journey to other people's journeys, okay? Especially if you have gone through a long-term surgery or long-term rehab. Your journey is going to be very frustrating at times, and this is why you need people in your corner. You need a close network. You need a close support system who's going to be able to guide you, be there for you every single day, because it's going to be very repetitive. But if you're just comparing yourself to everyone else, you're not focusing on what you're doing. I don't want to sort of bring up too many things because then that'll just be a rabbit hole going down to other things. But you're going to be robbed of so many things. You're going to not really make the progress that you want. So try not to compare your journey to anyone else's. Just think about who you were yesterday. We want to be getting better every single day, whether that's 1%, 10%, whatever. Those habits stack up and you will make that progress that we want. The next mistake is only sleeping 4 to 5 hours every night. So by that, okay, sleep, that is where the magic happens, okay? It's where recovery happens. This misconception is where people go to the gym and that's where gains are made, okay? The gains are not made. Stress is caused at the gym, but the adaptations to that stress, okay, results in where recovery happens, okay? So that is where the magic happens, is you need to be making sure that you are recovering adequately enough to see the benefits of the stress that you caused in your sport, your training, your gym. But if we're just sleeping 4 to 5 hours per night, we are going to have a lack of performance within that training session, which means we're not able to push ourselves within that training session. Oh, I keep looking at this camera. Apologies, guys. I need to get a lot better at this. I need to be looking down at the camera, not the screen. So that's going to be causing a lack of performance. You're not going to be able to progress and push yourself within that training session, which means your gains or your success rate of being able to improve yourself is diminished. And then you're also going to be increasing your risk of injury. Loads of different things happen, okay? So sleeping 4 to 5 hours per night has been seen to increase the risk of injury. And the last one, and this is probably the most important one, okay? This is something that I try to teach my clients and people on Instagram and TikTok, etc. This is what I try to teach you as much as possible, okay? This mistake is one of the most common, is that believing that no pain equals that you're fixed. And I'm going to put something on the screen now. You get injured, do a little bit of work, your pain goes away, you rest, and then you go back to your sport. You think, oh, there's no pain, I should be okay. You go back to your sport, you re-injure yourself. And then you rest again, you wait for the pain to go away, and then you go back, and then you injure yourself again. This cycle is just basically you're deconditioned. Your body is unable to withstand the demands that you're placing upon it, okay? So if you don't rehab adequately enough, we're not restoring that tissue capacity that we spoke about earlier. That means that you exceed the capacity, which means that your risk of pain or injury is even higher than it was before. So these symptoms are just going to keep on going on and on and on and on and on. So just because you have no pain, it doesn't mean that you're fixed, okay? The absence of pain does not mean that tissue capacity has been restored. So you need to be making sure that you rehab adequately, you get enough sleep, but then also you're respecting the state of pain, etc. So, for example, if you have a lateral ankle sprain and you've managed your swelling, you've got all that down, etc., your pain might go fairly quickly, but it doesn't mean that your ankle and your ligaments are strong enough to be able to withstand the demands that are placed upon it. So, for example, cutting changes the direction, etc. So, yeah, you just need to make sure that you're respecting your body, respecting the injury, respecting the process, and just go from there. Okay, so that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. There's a lot of waffle, so I'm going to try and I hope I've spiced up within the YouTube video itself, and hopefully you enjoy. If you want more of these videos, okay, we have a bulletproof community page that I have set up for you guys, okay? It's not for me, it's for you guys, where you can meet like-minded individuals. You're going to get access to injury prevention workouts, free mobility guides. You're able to ask questions. We've got very in-depth Q&As in there. But like I said, you're just going to be basically meeting like-minded individuals like yourself, to push yourself forwards. There could be someone who's got the same injury as you, so you can speak to them. So that community is I would say get locked in with that price now, because it's not going to be that cheap. It's $1 per month. Okay. And the only reason why I have that is $1. It should be free, but the only reason I have that is to make sure that we've got no time wasters. Okay. So if you enjoyed today's video and you want more content like this, make sure you join that community and I'll see you there. Okay. But other than that, I'll see you on the next one, guys.